So Donovan got his start in real estate after realizing how important choosing the right realtor was in the house buying process or home buying process. He's found it his calling to help find his clients their new home. If you ask Donovan's clients about him, they would say they appreciate his kind, compassionate, and knowledgeable approach. If Donovan isn't working hard for his clients, then you can likely find him cruising down Highway 1 in his on his 1973 motorcycle or spending time stargazing with his wife. If he could be any animal, what would it be? The peregrine falcon. That's a very specific answer, and I love it. Free-spirited, fast, and graceful. It stands as his top pick for what embodies his beliefs in an animal. So I love it. I actually love the fact that it's very specific. So we are, without further ado, we're going to welcome Donovan to the stage. Thank you so much. I'm excited for him to be here. He's taking the virtual limousine, guys. It's coming. It's on its way. There it is. Hello. Hi, Donovan. Good morning. How are you?
We hear you here. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. That's what happens sometimes with the AirPods.
Yeah.
Make sure that the microphone, you have it adjusted for input and output.
Okay.
Gotta live virtual, guys. This is why my recommendation for Bluetooth is always no. Can you hear us now, Donovan? You know, we could mime this presentation and it might be just as entertaining. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't know how to mime part-time versus full-time realty. Oh, okay. Unmute. You are muted now. That's the saying of 2020, right, guys? I think 2020 and 2021, you're on mute. Oh, wait, you're muted. Oh, no, wait, you're unmuted. Whatever, something. So I'm going to help you. Microphone at the bottom. Microphone. Oh my gosh, guys, we do dress rehearsals, but then people change up their equipment on me and I cannot help them. Perry, what would you say right now? Like, should we do another interlude with music?
Okay, I think I got you guys.
Got you.
Sorry about that. I thought the AirPods were going to work.
Like a dance presentation. I was doing a mime for everybody. So Perry was like, yeah, dance break. He was ready for some more music. So
yeah, thank you for keeping everybody entertained. Appreciate it.
No problem. You're welcome. That's actually one of the things I do best. So we are going to, do you have anything you want to share with us this morning? Or are you ready to jump right in?
I'm pretty much ready here. I mean, thank you guys for, taking the time to listen to me, and thank you for the wonderful introduction, Marissa. I didn't even remember Sequoia had those facts about me. So that was fun to hear.
Yeah, some of you guys are getting a reintroduction into yourself. When you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, that's what I wrote down for that. So I love it. I think it's great. So, so Donovan, do you think it's possible to do real estate part-time?
I do, but I think it takes a lot of planning, because when it comes to something like real estate, where it's so client focused, you want to make sure you have enough time for your clients. So if you want to do it part-time, I think you just have to make sure you prepare to have enough knowledge, you set aside enough time, you really work on your time management to be able to provide that value that your clients will need without being able to give them the same kind of time as a full-time agent.
That makes absolutely perfect sense. So, well, with that being said, if you're actually a part-time agent, how do you stay competitive with the full-time agents?
So when it comes to real estate, like for me, I kind of wondered the same thing when I was getting into real estate. I was working a full-time job. I was working, 50, 60 hours a week. And I was thinking, if I make the jump into real estate right now, can I really help my clients like as well as I want to? And I think it all boils down to pretty much, I think it all boils down to how much value you can provide with the time that you do have. So, it's a kind of a thing versus time versus knowledge. When somebody is looking for a realtor, they want somebody that can really help them out. And you can either help them out in time by, going to showings, setting up things, being there every day for them, being on the phone with them every night, that kind of thing. Or if you're more knowledgeable, you can just provide really good knowledge to help them make good decisions very quickly. So I would say that if you're going to be part-time and you want to provide value, make sure you do your homework, make sure you prepare, you get your knowledge, and you know what you're talking about. So that way you can only talk to the client for about 5 minutes and provide the same value as somebody who's super unknowledgeable can talk to them about for an hour and help them the same amount.
I like the word. I think unknowledgeable is
Yeah, I'm making up some
I
words
think
here.
you're just doing it, and I'm okay with that. I love that. So don't worry about it. I like it. So what would be your recommendation for when a good time to quit your day job would be and to go all in as like a full-time realtor?
For me, how I made it, I don't know how good it is for everybody else. For how I made the decision, what was I just budgeted it out pretty much. I figured out how much my bills were every month, how much I was paying, and I figured, you know what, if I wanted to go into real estate, I might not get paid for 6 months to a year because the stat is that I think 20% of realtors make 80% of the money, right? So I figured I'm probably not going to make a deal for my first year. So I had to budget out, make sure I had enough bills for the first year. And what I did was I did part-time until I closed my first deal. And then once I had, the commission from that, that allowed me to have the freedom to, quit my job, not have a salary, and still survive for the next 4 months, knowing that, hey, I closed the deal already. I should be able to close another one in 4 months. So I would say, maybe get a deal or two under your belt, or at least a good amount of mentoring and knowledge before you make the switch.
Love that answer, and I think that's true with most things, huh?
Right.
A lot of burning like inquiries and minds would like to know if there are salaried positions in real estate.
Yes, yeah. The cool thing about real estate is that you can pretty much do a million different jobs with a real estate license, and the funny thing is that the real estate license has nothing to do with any of those jobs really. But yeah, I mean, in the back end, there's a ton of admin work you can do. In the beginning, you probably don't want to be working directly with clients anyways, because you might not have the knowledge to be able to really protect them during a transaction. So I would highly recommend doing the other salaried positions, or looking around and seeing what's available in the whole real estate career. You can go into commercial, you can go into industrial, you can go into residential investment. There's so many different opportunities for people in real estate. If they're interested, I highly recommend not just choosing one, but really looking around at what's available and figuring out what matches best with them.
Love it. And I think a lot of people don't realize, I'm going to mute you all. If you mute yourself while I'm talking, then we won't hear the feedback in the speaker. Thank you. I'm being nitpicky this morning so that we don't have that. Appreciate you. So a lot of people don't know that there are those salaried positions in real estate. And I, for one, being one of them prior to having a lot of friends that are now in this industry. So love having that answer and that knowledge available to everybody. What about agents planning ahead for like their health insurance and retirement savings? How does that work?
So, being a 1099 in real estate, you don't get a lot of health insurance or, those other kind of benefits that a salary position would give you. My advice, I mean, to be honest, I'm married to a wife that has a great health insurance plan. So that's my health insurance plan. Go get married to somebody who has one. But
your advice is find a partner that has benefits for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah. But other than that, even before that, I was worrying about it. And I think the most important thing is nowadays, just saving money isn't enough to kind of retire and have that whole American dream. When you get to like 65, right? If you want to just save, you might have to save till like 85, 95 nowadays. So I think the most important thing now is that your money is working for you. Whether it's through investments in real estate or stocks or bonds or even 401ks or IRAs, your money just has to be somewhere that's growing. And I think that's the most important thing. Some people say they don't have enough time to invest or they don't have the knowledge to invest. Well, that's fine, because there's actually investments for people like that, right? Some things that you don't have to touch. You can talk to a wealth manager or financial analyst, and if they get your money growing and you make real estate money, then you should be good to retire and have plenty of money for health insurance.
Love it. Great. That's good advice. Also, I really appreciate your hair, by the way. It's looking very slick. I just want to say that. I just thought I'd add that. I know I'm in a good mood this morning, so I'm remembering everybody.
Good. It took me only like 3 hours this morning to make, so.
Oh, nice. Perfect. So 3 hours, if you get up at 5 a.m. before, no, I'm just kidding. And then you go show your first house, you're good to go. It's all ready to go.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out here to present and out of your busy schedule. If there's anything you'd like to leave us with before you exit the virtual stage, I'd appreciate that. If not, everybody direct your questions to the Q&A for this gentleman, and then we will move on. Oh, look, we've already got questions for you. This is amazing. How much time would you say you devoted to both real estate and your other job for your first year of real estate, and how many transactions did you have? Loaded question.
Wow, yeah, pretty loaded there. So let's see. Let me see how much time. So it was kind of tough when I was doing it in the beginning. I devoted all my weekends to it, and I kind of just went out and figured, what can I do that can get me into this world of real estate, without me having to quit my job. And back then, before the pandemic, there was a ton of open houses going on, and I figured that would give me the perfect exposure. So, I went on Facebook. I looked up who was the best realtor I could find, and I found Ann Chang. And yeah, yeah. And funny story, I actually she came to my self-defense class, and that's how I met her.
That's
I was working at a martial arts school, and well, after I met her, she was willing to have me help her out with some open house stuff. So, I came and I visited her, and every weekend I would start visiting open houses like that. And soon enough, I would say I dedicated maybe just the weekends in the beginning, a little bit of time during the weekdays, but it was just the weekends. In terms of the weekdays, what the time that I did dedicate was after I got off of work. I would go home. I would be on YouTube about real estate classes, how to invest in real estate, taking my real estate courses. So it's kind of just like that studying time in between. And the good thing about real estate is its flexibility and how you can kind of squeeze it into your daily life.
How about the transactions that you had in your first year? How many transactions did you have?
Yeah, loaded question. So I think I got fairly lucky, and I got 8 transactions in my first year. I would say a lot of that is thanks to my mentor, Ann, and Sequoia for the great support, though. Being a brand new agent, being able to make, any kind of deal is incredibly difficult. And honestly, it kind of feel like Sequoia and Ann made the deal for me, because my client would come and call me and say, oh, hey, Donovan, what's the answer to this question? I'm like, you know what? I got an answer for you. I got to call you right back. Hey, Ann, well, what's the answer to this question? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's definitely how it goes. But that's also good. That's also
yeah.
how much, how good the community is that you guys have, and what also you're building with the knowledge space. So I love that.
Right.
He also asks, how do you stay focused when your other job is taking time away from your real estate business?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I don't actually have another job right now. I'm a full-time realtor, but
at the beginning, or when you first started, or
yeah, let me see. The motivation, if I'm quite honest, it was the money. I mean, I was.
That's okay. That can be the real motivation. We don't have.
Yeah, I mean, I remember sitting at my job, and I was working, about 60 hours a week, and I had about $1,000 in my bank account. I had just gotten married, and I'm thinking to myself, I have to buy a house for my wife soon.
There's no.
I can't. Yeah, so I can't do that with $1,000, and just knowing that real estate gives you the flexibility in the schedule, and it gives you, the financial goals that you're looking for. There's not a lot of jobs out there that give you both of those things. So just wanting to get to that point where I'm financially stable and I have flexibility over my job and I have a house, real estate was just the perfect option.
So the last question, I'm muting you for myself. The last question was, how do you thrive then in your real estate business, or like, how do you attribute your success? And I'm thinking that you're probably going to answer close to what you just said. So like, how do you keep thriving? Unmute. I muted you for that feedback. You're welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
No, you're doing great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think in terms of the thriving part, I would say I had a little bit of a hiccup when it's hard as a realtor, to keep that fiduciary obligation to your client when you have such a huge amount of money on the line. And I found that actually the more that money became, bigger in my head, the harder I was able to do my job. So once I was able to wipe that completely from my head, and it does take some practice, joining, I thought I would never, think about the money. I would always think about the client, but it does take some work. And once I got that out, then you can actually sit down with the client and you're fully there to support them and help them in however they need. And I would say that once that boundary was crossed, my clients could see that, I could see that, and that made the biggest difference.
Love it. Thank you for answering all of our questions. Good answer. Sunny was the one quizzing you in the Q&A. So
thanks, Sunny. Appreciate the questions.
So we appreciate your time, Donovan. Thank you so much for all the questions. Thank you for presenting great knowledge. Anne said that you were her self-defense coach. She said self-defense master. So not self-defense master. Next time we have you present, we're gonna have to have you give us some moves. So like do a demo, or maybe like a little Taekwondo presentation for some stress relief. So pretty cool.